Hey there, I am Veronica Isles, and I am so excited to be with you today. We are talking manifestation tricks, how to get someone to do exactly what you want. And just finished a live on YouTube. Hopefully some of those people come over. Hopefully we meet some new people. And we get you some free coaching today, because that is the point of these sessions, is to give you a little taste of what I have to offer and to allow some lucky people to gain some free coaching and get someone to do exactly what you want. I want to stress that we are actually manifesting how everyone in our life already shows up, good and bad. There's a reason for it. The source, the reason is you. So adjust some things in you, adjust the way you show up, adjust how you align your self-concept, and the people in your world will automatically change. They will automatically start offering you a new version of them from their own free will. So this has nothing to do with manipulation. This has nothing to do with mind control, telepathy, forcing someone, making them your puppet, marionette. It has nothing to do with that. So we're going to talk a little bit about those techniques. I do want to mention that the full video where I delved into all of the 3 different points is on YouTube now. I believe you can watch it right now. Or stick with me here and watch that later. I will be taking questions as I see them. So hopefully I can take your question. But before we do that, studywithveronica.com is the place to go to get my free 10 days to manifesting miracles in your life. It is in fact a free course that I developed. I do have paid courses too. In fact, I have a course that is actually email coaching with me, the 25-day challenge for manifesting a specific person. It is manifesting love in your life. And this is the last day to enroll, and that one is at dreamlifebyveronica.com/coaching, and it will not come back. So keep that in mind. If you had any inclination to do it with me, today is in fact your last chance. I'm actually sort of shifting to new course material, so some of these courses actually may end up becoming discontinued or just not put on sale at all, ever. They may be in fact retired, because I'm sort of moving towards different ideas, and I want to kind of help you out in new ways and different ways. But getting someone to do exactly what you want has to do with love, money, friendship, family relationships. So say you have someone that is currently giving you displeasing behavior. I do want to mention, if someone has done something unforgivable, like a deal breaker, like this person really shouldn't be in your life since they did this particular thing, don't blame yourself for manifesting it. Instead, manifest the apology, manifest having amends be made up to you, and then move on from this person. They're not worth your time. I do want to mention, if you try to manifest this from a place of control and manipulation and trying to overpower someone, and you need them in desperation, you have an obsession to have someone do something you want, it'll never work. It will in fact backfire. Your life will get miserable because, well, we're all extensions of the same thing. We're all connected in ways we don't even want to admit. So if you try to harm someone by getting them to, forcing them to do something, forcing them, then in fact it will backfire, and you only harm yourself. Do unto others as we would want to be done unto you. I think that's how you say it. What is the third point? Okay, so ask yourself first. This is point number 1. Really easy. Ask yourself how often you're contemplating on the displeasing behavior or the lack of the pleasing behavior versus the result that you want. So if you want someone to love and adore you, what does that actually look like? Do they show up at your work, bring you flowers? Do they send you text messages saying, I love you? Do they talk in a sweet tone of voice? Are they respectful? Do they clean your house? That one, yeah, I just thought that was funny. Okay, I need to be serious. Okay, so what does this tangibly look like? That's all I'm trying to say is that the behavior that you want, that's like love, money, maybe you want clients to rave about you, leave you Google reviews, say that you're amazing. What do you want? They want you to give recommendations to other people. What does it tangibly look like? And right now, are you looking at the clients that maybe owe you money and thinking to yourself, well, they're avoiding me, so clearly my product or my service sucks? What are you imagining right now when they come to mind? Your go-to thought, your contemplative thought, not the thought that flashes in your mind. Like if the displeasing, like don't suddenly get so paranoid that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't think of them displeasing me, or otherwise that's going to manifest, because you know what, then all you're going to be thinking about is the displeasing behavior, the lack of pleasing behavior. That's all you're going to be focused on. You're going to be paranoid, you're going to feel OCD, compulsive. It's not going to work. So Instead, you're going to contemplate. Contemplate. What does contemplation mean? I don't actually have a dictionary description right now, but contemplation is like thinking about something, looking at it from all different angles, thinking about it with feeling, dwelling in it with no sort of attachment to needing it to happen. You're just kind of allowing all of your senses in it in a pleasing way. You're contemplating it. We tend to contemplate the things that we don't want or the bad memories. Why are we contemplating the things we don't want? So contemplate the way you want this person to show up in your life. That is point number 1. Point number 2, this is 3 points. It's so stupid simple that you'll be kicking yourself when you realize how easy this is and how easy it is to get results. And in fact, I encourage you to test this out on all the relationships in your life, all of them. Step number 2. What are you imagining them thinking about you or their sort of plans for the future? Like, for example, clients. If they are currently ghosting you, they owe you money, they don't want to do follow-up sessions with you, do you imagine them taking pleasure in hiring someone else? Like maybe someone else is flashier, younger, better. You think someone else is more equipped to being their mentor. I'm just throwing ideas out there. So what do you imagine them doing? What do you imagine they think about you? Oh, do you think they think you're stupid or silly or incapable? And this could go for love too. Like if you went out on a date with someone, you really connected with them, you thought they connected with you, but now they haven't sent you a text. Do you assume they found someone else? That's a big one in love, is that if someone isn't texting you, they're with someone else. They found the love of their life. They're going to get married. They're going to start a family with someone else. Our minds go off into crazy land. Again, that's contemplative thought. So what are you assuming they want and that they think of you? Now, I want to stress, and this is very important, that you are not literally changing what they think of you, because you will never really know what is inside of their mind. Like, you can only be inside your mind and your heart. So all you need to do is focus on what you think, your assumption of what they are thinking about and what they want and what they're going to do, how they're going to show up. I can give you an example. Think about a good relationship in your life. You probably don't imagine this person wanting to harm you for 1 second, like your best friend. You imagine them loving you, you imagine them taking care of you, wanting to do nice things for you, being excited to see you. So this person in question that you want to do something, how do you think they're thinking about you? Try to compare it to a good relationship in your life, and then ask yourself, how can I emulate that idea? And you may feel like, well, I'm not allowed to think of that. Well, why are you allowed to think of the bad stuff? Like the future isn't written yet, it hasn't happened. You're allowed to pretty much think anything you want, but the only way it's going to work is through detachment, through not needing this person for dear life. So just lovingly, watch, observe what you think they're thinking about and how you think they see you. Number 3 is adjusting your self-concept to know that you can, in fact, get this type of treatment from someone. So this has little to do with the specific person in question, whether or not it's love, money, coworker, family relationships. How do you think people show up in your life for you? What are you aligned with as your sense of self? So in terms of love, do you love yourself? Do you talk to yourself in your mind as you would want this person in question to talk to you? Okay, so that's the third point is self-concept. Your self-concept has to line up. Now, these things are so much of a no-brainer because I'm going to tell you why they're a no-brainer. You're doing them already. You're already doing these things without even realizing it. All you need to do is adjust how you're doing them and do them deliberately. And then without sort of an expectation, a need, a desperation for this person to show up this way, just a knowing inside, the third point, I deserve this. This is who I am. This is how people show up for me. So it's like you're detaching yourself in a sense from needing this person to show up in a certain way, and you just feel yourself to be a success in love already. You feel yourself to be a success in money already, in friendships, social networks. Maybe that was social scene. Let's try that. Okay. Do we have any questions? I'm not sure we do. May just close it off it then. I feel like I haven't been online long enough, though. I don't know when we started. Does anyone want to ask a question? I appreciate all of you for being here. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I do want to rehash studywithveronica.com, free course. I'm getting some diamonds. Diamonds are beautiful. I think that's it. Maybe that isn't a diamond. You know what that looks like? It's some sort of triangle. Okay. Oh, I got a question. How do I make my person be more obsessive? Haha, I feel like it's you. Okay. If you find yourself obsessing, waiting for this person to do this particular thing, we need to kind of put aside the need and put aside the attachment. Like, ask yourself why you want them to do this particular thing, to be obsessive about you. And I'm guessing obsessive in a good way. So you want them to show you a lot of attention, make you feel good inside, make you feel loved. What does that tangibly look like? Start identifying that. You could write it down. You could write it down in the story form, what that actually would look like for you, because for everybody it's a little bit different. How you want someone to love you looks a little bit different to everyone. So you have a unique vision in mind on what love looks like for you. Now you do have to break your obsession for this person, your need, your desperation. If it's trying to feed your ego in a way that you're not already, ego is like it wants gratification from outer things in order to feel a certain way. But the great secret, the great beauty is you can feel these things now. How would you feel if this person was obsessively loving you in a positive way? I want to stress that. Like, how would you wake up in the morning? What are things that you can do right now to emulate that type of life that are within your control? So it's not within your control to literally make them do these things right now, and you shouldn't beg, you shouldn't ask, you shouldn't plead. None of those things are going to work. But what are sort of habits, mental habits, ways you talk to yourself, how you see yourself when you look in the mirror, how you feel about this relationship with this person? I would get busy, get interested in other things that excite you too. You don't want to lose yourself within a love relationship. You don't want your entire world to be this other person. What are your other interests, hobbies that have nothing to do with this person? How can you better engage in other goals, other dreams, validate yourself, make yourself a magnet to this person's love? How do I forget about our bad past every time I manifest or affirm? Well, the past, if you have a bad past together, this could go a few different ways, so I'm just going to answer it in the best way possible. So you can't really forget the past because those memories never really go away. But what you can do is no longer feel your self-concept identifying with these past events. So the bad past, maybe they rejected you, maybe they disappointed you. So these things that you received before in the past, this is not how you have to feel about yourself for the future. When you're manifesting or affirming, and I want to say we're always manifesting, we're always affirming something, so this is like when you're specifically thinking about love, I'm assuming. Doesn't say what kind of relationship this was, but I'm just guessing. So how do you want it to be? And if it's causing you resistance, to think about how you want it to be, because the past memories are plaguing you. Instead, focus it entirely, wholeheartedly centered on you, as in granting yourself the feeling of being the kind of person who has these kinds of experiences, not necessarily with this person. So we kind of want to take the pain out of imagining this person and instead jump to the experiences and the fulfillment of those experiences, minus the person, which does in fact allow the resistance to fade away, and then the person does in fact show up in that way, if that makes sense. But remember to forgive the past, move on from it. It does not define the future. We tend to get fixated on the past because we think the future is going to be a carbon copy of whatever the past was, but it's not true. The past can be left in the past. Like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So what happened in the past stays in the past. It will not be the same types of experiences you have in the future unless you remain in the same way and you continue to contemplate the past. If this person needs to make it up to you, decide that they're not worth you unless they make it up to you and set those standards high. We tend to not do that because we think that it's not realistic. And you want this person back at all costs. That's an ego desire. Decide to want the best person for you. And maybe this person completely makes it up to you, shows you the world, but they're never going to do that unless you realize you're worth the best and that the best person is going to win your heart. Okay. StudyWithVeronica.com. Thank you to everyone. If I didn't get to your question, I am sorry. Next time, let's just see if I missed any. Someone's trying to go to the gym. That's amazing. Okay. Detach. Let's answer that one. I felt like there was one more that needed to be answered, and then go to StudyWithVeronica.com. Okay. Detachment. Detachment means that you know yourself without needing the world around you to show you that you can feel that way. So detachment, we can take detachment from all different angles, because you hear, well, detach from a desire. How do you do that? It means that your happiness doesn't rest on having to have this desire. You're no longer responding to the world around you. The world around you is responding to you. So we get to the source. I'm the source. So I'm going to choose how I ideally want to feel and be, whether or not the world around me is good or not. Like I'm choosing it for me. Detachment means you're not controlled by a need to have a desire. You're not controlled by outer circumstances because you know they're temporary, they're movable, they're shapeable. You're not controlled by the past. You just decide how you want to feel within for you. If you need my personal help on this, StudyWithVeronica.com. We have face-to-face live coaching. Can't tell you how much longer that is last. And it's just me and you, not everybody else trying to vie for getting your question answered. It's just me and you. DreamLifeByVeronica.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Catch me there live next. And I love you all. May all of your dreams come true. They were meant for you.